Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformation. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time by going to blogtalkradio.com/Life Transformation Radio. You can also join our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community, and never miss an episode by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, Player FM, Himalaya, Google Podcasts, Pandora, or we're available on YouTube, so you can subscribe on YouTube at Life Transformation Radio. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, go ahead and give us a call at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. And with that, please help me welcome to the show my guest for today, Petia Kolibova. Petia, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today with you.
I'm excited for many reasons, but a lot of people right now are trying to figure out how to go one of two ways. From the busy mom working all the time to making that side hustle work, or to making a side hustle work to go full time. And really, maybe they're trying to leave a job, or maybe they just don't have a job. So they're trying to go from a full-time job to CEO, or they're trying to go from just a passion, something they kind of want to do, to I'm going to do this full time. Maybe they're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe there's a hobby that they've had forever, and people could tell them, like, hey, man, you can make money from this. And they're like, I don't really know how. But either way, my audience is predominantly women who are either experiencing a transformation, have experienced a transformation, or are looking for that dare to be great moment. That transformational moment that when they know they find it, that's going to make all the difference in the world. They're just looking for this one moment to take action. So I'm really, really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. And like you said, I feel that especially in 2020, so many unexpected and unplanned transformation just started to happen because people were losing jobs, people were losing hours at their jobs, and people also had time to slow down. If anything else, each and every one of us was able to slow down a little bit and spend a little bit more time with ourselves, whether it was for just a few days or a few weeks or a few months. We slow down, we look at our lives, and many women that came to me, they realized they're not living the life that it's true to them. They were just going through the motion. They were just going through this hamster wheel of, oh, I should be doing this. And they were doing it. And now when there was a disconnect, when there was a global path, and everybody has to take a break, they realize that what they're doing, it's really not fulfilling to them. So many side hustles step up and created their online business or just renegotiated the terms of their work. But the most important thing, they say yes to the transformation and start taking care of themselves.
Yeah, nailed it. 2020 made everybody reassess. They made everybody kind of take stock of what was important in their life, the people in their life. We get so busy. Oh, yeah, I'll do it next week. Yep, I'll see you next week. Oh, I got to push it off. Something else came up with the business or whatever. Oh, I got to go to town. Well, 2020 made people slow way down. And it made people think. And it made people, maybe I don't like this job so much. Maybe it's a blessing that I lost this job so that I don't have to quit. Maybe it's time that I write that book. Maybe it's time I launch that podcast. Maybe it's time that I really think about what it is that I want in my marriage or what I want in my life or maybe the business I wanted to create but never did. And for us, we thrived during 2020 working with people to launch podcasts and books and businesses. And most of them said, this is the moment. I have the time now. I lost my job. I got to do something else. This is what I want to do. And I've always wanted to do it, but I just never had the time, or I was really kind of scared, because I needed the job, but job's gone. So good a time as any. So, we launched a lot of books. We launched a lot of podcasts. We launched a lot of businesses, and people are happy. And that was the whole focal point.
That's amazing. I love that. And like you mentioned, when crisis came, it doesn't have to be seen as obstacle, right? It also can be seen as an opportunity. Like my business last year, we tripled, and I hire more people and give more jobs for my team. So it's really important to see, no matter where you are, whether in your life or globally, you always get to look at what can I learn from here and what is this really teaching me, right? Because when we can pause and really reassess, like you said, we can look at our jobs, we can look at our health, we can look at our marriage, because we really have the space to ask ourselves, what is really important to me? Not what I think I could or I should be doing, but what do I really, really want? Because so many people, there was this huge wave of fear, right? Like there's something going on, we will all die. That was the first oh my gosh, this is going to wipe us all off. And there was this fear that we're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And what if really I get sick and I die, right? So people start connecting with people deeper, calling their family, right? And being more connected, Zoom calls. I know we couldn't be maybe in person, but we started to connect on a deeper level and asking ourselves deeper questions, because there were so many lockdowns, depending on the location where people lived, that they had to spend time with themselves, if they like it or not. Be in that room with themselves, be in that relationship, that marriage, right? And they couldn't go out, and and numb and, be drinking, partying, shopping, all these things. Suddenly there were so many aha moments and so many moments when people realized okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And what if this will end? If my life will end and I am okay with that? It's such an important question to ask yourself, whether there is pandemic or not, asking yourself, if nothing ever changes in my life, am I okay with that? So many people will say that they are not. It's such a simple question, but really, you don't have to even think about it. Feel into that. Drop into your heart and ask yourself, if nothing ever changes, am I okay?
Right. Very true. I like it. I like where you go with that. So the title of this episode is Unapologetically Abundant with transformation coach Petia Kolibova. She's a women's transformation coach who helps women who have been pushed down and been playing it small due to toxic relationships or unhealed childhood trauma to create a life that is true to them and their soul purpose. Her mission is to help women who are on the path to healing from past wounds move through their limiting beliefs and internal blocks so they can finally do what they want to do, what feels good to them, serve other women in a powerful way online with strategic planning to give entrepreneurs immense clarity plus exact steps to transition from side hustler to CEO. You can learn more about her at her website, PetiaKolibova.com. It's right there in the show notes. The Facebook group is right there along with her Instagram. Go ahead and join her group, Unapologetically Abundant, and then click on that Instagram link, send her a friend request, letting her know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. The first question I have to ask after reading all that, and I must know, what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
I love this question, Sean. Thank you so much for asking. And I could invest here an hour or two explaining it, but the deepest why, it's why I am who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's I needed someone like me on my journey. When I was going through depression, when I was going through anxiety, when I was physically and mentally abused by my stepfather, when I was in toxic relationships where I was disrespected and physically abused, when I attempted suicide, when I was going through my eating disorder of 18 years, almost 2 decades of hurting myself and hurting my body, back then, decade ago, it wasn't as easy as today to tune into the radio, tune into the podcast, go on social media and ask for help. Back then, it was just you got to figure it out by yourself, right? So back then I was feeling lonely and I was feeling empty. And on the outside, my life looked great. I was married, I was working in a corporate, I was doing fitness competitions, so I had the desired six-pack and all these things. But on the inside, when I came home, I felt empty and I felt like I'm dying inside. And then when I started on my journey, I realized that it's not just me. And so many women are suffering quietly because we were raised to nurture others, to take care of the others, to just suck it up and don't be too emotional. So I don't want any woman to go through this pain. I don't want them to feel alone. I don't want them to be wearing a masks and pretending that everything is okay. And on inside they're dying and they're numbing with alcohol, shopping, spending, or just binge eating and just being in places and relationships they don't belong. I know how hurting it was, how painful it was. And I wouldn't wish this for anyone. And that's why I am so strong in being unapologetic in who you really are, really owning it, because that's when I became really abundant in my life in all of the aspects. And I want this for everyone.
Sounds like you've gone through a huge transformation.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can relate to that.
Exactly.
The depression, the anxiety, when you think so low of yourself, what's the reason for being? When you think that low of yourself, that low self-worth, it's why do I care anymore? Why even try? Why even be here? So, it sounds like you went through a huge transformational moment.
Yeah. And I feel, Sean, that if I could do that, a girl from a small town in Czech Republic, if I can do that and if I can have, successful, fulfilling business and loving relationship and healthy relationship with myself and my body and working with clients that I dearly love and traveling the world, anyone can do that. We are all unique in our own way, but I'm not special. There is nothing special about me that I would say I was gifted this or this is my special gift and nobody else can do it. This is just Petia. Each of us is so unique, and we get to realize that and embrace that, and it goes again back into being unapologetic and authentic into who you really are. Because when you embrace that, the opportunities, the people, the money, the peace, the freedom, comes with that.
Gotcha. So it's like a byproduct.
Yep. Exactly. It's a beautiful byproduct, because I saw it on my own journey and also on my clients that we are so scared to be ourselves. We're so scared to express ourselves. What if other people will judge us? What if we fail? What if, we cannot do that? We have so many doubtful thoughts in our mind that it's easier. We think it's easier to put a mask, like, oh, I will be a good daughter, I will be a good wife, I will do this school, I will do this and this for everybody else, I will people please, because we want to feel like we belong. But that feeling inside of you that this is not who you really are, it will stay there. And something that I kept feeling for decades was like, there must be more. Please don't tell me that we are born, we go to school, we get married, and we die. I did all the right things. On the paper, everything looked great. I learned languages. I went to school. I got my bachelor's. I got my master's business degree. I got married. I was working in a corporate. I was growing, and I was competing in fitness. Everything looked great on the paper. But inside, I knew that all of these things, I was doing them to be validated by others. I was outsourcing my worthiness. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. I was always searching for the next thing. I call it living in a when-land. When I get the money, when I get the relationship, when I get the body, when I get the raise, when I have the car, you're living in the future. But you will never get there, because once you get there, you're like, oh, this is it? I thought that my whole life will completely change when I get this, but it doesn't. It's who you become along this journey versus what you get along the journey. The getting part, that's the fun byproduct, right? The travels, the house, the car, the marriage, whatever it is that you do desire. That's a fun byproduct. But if you don't embrace who you are on this journey, it will never be fulfilling. And no matter how much you have or how much you do, it won't be fulfilling for you.
So true. Yep. So true. Let's talk about the transformational moment. The show is all about the moments that we go through that change us and put us on the path to what you're doing today. So, for you, what would you say was the transformational moment that brought you from the depression, the eating disorders, suicidal thoughts, that low moment? And I'm sure there were many, but what would you say was a transformational moment that changed you and put you on the path to what you're doing today?
Like you mentioned, I feel that there were many moments that really shaped who I am and have me take a completely different journey than I would probably plan for myself. But I feel like the first biggest turn around was when I was really, in my dark moments. I think I was 27, 28. Struggling with eating disorder and feeling completely useless for this world. Like the moment when I was saying why should I be even here? It doesn't even really matter. And I realized that moment after one night of, again, binging, purging, and I was really on the floor, on my knees, crying, exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. I didn't want to continue. And in that moment, I realized that I either have to change something or I will literally die. I couldn't continue, keep going. These dark thoughts of not wanting to be here, I had these feelings that it really doesn't matter if I'm here or not. And back then I started to look on Google and YouTube, how to overcome depression, how to be happy, how to stop having suicidal thoughts, how to heal from eating disorder. And thankfully, I found Louise Hay. And with her, the whole club, right? Joe Dispenza, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Gabrielle Bernstein, all these people, I started to brainwash myself. Instead of listening to the critic who was telling me that I'm worthless and I shouldn't be here and I am here just by accident, I started to listen to positive affirmations, meditations, audiobooks, and I was brainwashing myself. That was the moment that everything started to change. And it wasn't like, oh, cool, now I want to live and I will listen to this and I will feel much better. It took years for me to be where I am, but that was the first stepping stone that showed me that there is something different, that there is a possibility, there is a hope. And that's what I truly needed on my journey. I needed the hope. I needed to know something else is possible for me. So that's what really started shaping my journey and curiosity about personal development and self-healing and energy and all these things that I never heard of before. That was the biggest shift in my life.
Wow. People can relate to that. There's a lot I didn't realize about affirmations, and there's a lot that we do now that wasn't popular 10 or 20 years ago. You know, if you were a yogi, people were like, oh, here we go. But like a lot of people do it now. You know, what we call woo-woo today, like a little woo-woo, you know, might have been looked at as they're a little crazy. They're a bunch of crazy people running around. But now it's socially acceptable, and there's actually truth behind it, and there's science behind it, and it's more widely accepted, which I think is amazing. But I've had Reiki masters on the show. I've had energy healers on the show. And just talking about that stuff 20 years ago, they would have been shunned. They'd be like, oh, get out of here with that crazy stuff. You know, now people want to know about it. They're like, well, what is that? Well, it's nothing new. It's been around a while, you know.
For centuries.
Which I find
centuries.
I find it interesting. Yes. Yep. I find fascinating. I'm like, gee, what changed? Did the market penetration change?
I think the consciousness of the people. And you know what? I think that it's really about like the collective consciousness. You know, when one person starts like learning about something and says it to other person and other person, it starts growing. And when you raise that knowledge and consciousness, it will start raising, you know, even in the people that they never heard of it before. So I think it really goes back to collective consciousness and all of us awakening and opening ourselves, like really being open to new ways of seeing the world. Because up until now, what we have done, it might keep us alive and surviving, but really it didn't allow us to be thriving. So we are now going back, and we're going back to the basics because we're like, okay, we have tried this didn't work, what else could work? And we start to look around and like, oh, they were doing these a couple thousand years ago. Like, why not give it a try, right? So, yeah, it might be easier marketing because everything is now online and you have access to learn about everything instantly and online. But I also truly believe it's the collective consciousness when we are all raising our vibration and what we are knowing and what we are open to and what is acceptable, like you said.
Yeah, I think that awareness and emotional intelligence has been really talked about a lot, to the point where people are like, okay, let me explore this. Let me explore this emotional intelligence thing. Let me explore this, you know, this mindset thing, you know. You always heard it's all in your mind, it's all in your mind, it's all in your mind, it's fine, it's all in your mind. But nobody really put a name to it until years ago, where they're like, oh, I'm a mindset coach. People are like, oh, I like that. I'm a business mindset coach. Oh, I'm a women's empowerment coach. Oh, I'm a business women's empowerment coach. And they started niching down and niching down and niching down. And then we see what we have today with the categories that people play in. for you, I like how what you say you do is more of a statement of who you are. That's just how I take it. When I read what you do and I see that you're unapologetically abundant, you know, I'm like, that's a statement more than, here's what I do. You know, it's more than a name. You know, you serve other women in a powerful way online. You heal from past wounds and limiting beliefs and things that hold people back. I mean, everybody has limiting beliefs. Everybody has something that holds them back. But I love the fact that you've said, you know, unapologetically abundant. And you planted your flag and said, this is it.
Thank you. And I really receive it. Thank you so much. And I truly believe that we get to be walking our talk, right? We get to be the embodiment. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. People will look at you. People will look at your work and they will feel something. They will feel some energy. They're either attracted to you or they're not. You cannot make it up with the words. When people, especially women, when they look at me, what I'm teaching them, I have. What I'm teaching them, I embody. What I'm teaching them, I'm doing. You know, so I think it's very important that no matter what you do, it's your mission, it's your vision, and it's wholeheartedly, wholeheartedly, you get to be wrapped in it. And when people look at you, they can feel it. They can see it. And they look and they're like, okay, I want this. How did you do it? So it's, for me, it's very important. Integrity, it's very important. It's a part of my values, right? Growth, integrity, it's a part of my core values that are unshakable and non-negotiable. And I truly believe that once you step into that, into your core values, when you know what is non-negotiable for you, you will be emanating the same energy. Whatever it is for you, you will start attracting the people, the opportunities into your life that will match that, what you do stand for. But first you get to shed off the layers. You have to take off the masks. You get to become unapologetically you. And, you know, when I say being unapologetic, it doesn't mean being a mean person, being an arrogant person. It means this is who I am. Right. This is what I stand for. Come with me if you resonate. If don't, keep walking. Keep walking, because you don't want to waste nobody's time and energy, right? Because when you become unapologetically yourself, you will realize there are people who don't like that. Your family might be distancing or telling you like, hey, you have changed. What are you doing? And sometimes this is really challenging. My clients are afraid to start their businesses or start their social media and start standing up for what they stand for, because they're like, well, my family won't understand it. Some of them, they're coming from really strict religious backgrounds, and it's shedding so many layers to be able to even like, who am I really when I am not serving everybody else? But when you become unapologetic, you will inspire so many people, and I love that. You inspire by being yourself. Isn't that like the most beautiful thing?
Right. And like you said, it's not about being mean and arrogant, like, haha, look at me.
Yeah.
That's not what it means. Yeah. It means what my friend Julie Reisler, who was a guest on the show, calls being your USU. It's the true form of being. Just being. You don't have to be somebody or not to impress a crowd that you don't really like, but you want to socially belong, like in high school. You don't have to impress a parent or impress a sibling because there's some sibling rivalry going on about whose husband's better and whose house is better and whose kids are better and whose life is better, and you're in some kind of rivalry. And you definitely don't have to impress the neighbors or people on social media. You can just be your USU. And when that happens, you become unapologetically abundant. Like, this is me. This is my life. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. I don't know about you, and I'm pretty sure this is you here for a second, but for me, I've gotten to a place in business where I'll get on calls, and I hate like virtual coffee and discovery calls. Like I hate all that. I'm like we're gonna meet on Zoom, or we're gonna get on the phone, and I'm gonna see if I can help you. I'm gonna see if I can serve you, and if I can't, I'll recommend somebody. If not, then I met an amazing person. No expectations, no obligation. By the end of the call, and they're like, "Okay, I'd love to work with you. Whatever. What's the price?" Give them the price. I say, "This is the investment you're going to make, whether it be time and money or whatever." And somebody will go, "Ooh, that's a lot of money. That's quite more than what my budget is." I'm like, "Okay." So like, do you do anything? I mean, I can split it into payments if you want, but this is the investment. This is what it costs. It's like, oh man, that's a little expensive. And then you'll have some sales coach going, "Oh, just sell them, like whatever." First of all, I'm not going to sell anybody into something that they don't really, really need or really, really want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say, I was like, that's fine. I mean, I'm sorry that, that maybe your budget's not there or, whatever it is. But this is what you get. This is the value. This is, whatever. And they're like, so, and I have one person just recently was like, so that's it? Like, I'm not here to sell you. I'm just here to help. I'm not here to sell you anything. If you want to join a program that I have, you want me to coach you, want me to work with you, this is what it costs. Because I know my value. And they'll say, wow, I wasn't pressured into anything. I'm like, no, I don't pressure into anything. And I'll tell them, like, I don't need your money. I don't need this. This sale is not going to break my business. And it's amazing when you get to that place. It feels amazing.
Yes. Sean, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy you're saying it out here and out loud, because many people, they are feeling this pressure like, oh, I have to close, oh, I have to sell, and whatever it takes, right? And listen, at the beginning of our journey in a business or in life, when you're starting, you will do anything and everything to pay your bills, right? Like you want to survive. Yep. But when you get into the place, this is me, this is who I am, I know my value, it either works for you or it doesn't, right? And it's fascinating because I was just telling my fiance yesterday, I was on a connecting call, and like you, I'm here to serve. I don't need new clients. I don't have that need. I'm so blessed that I built my business that I don't need more clients. And if I take new clients, it's because I want and because I see their potential and because that person lights me up and I want to work with them. So I tell them like, hey, the investment in working with me is this, and we'll work together 3 months, and this is what you will walk away with. And, like we can start next week or in a couple weeks, right, when the spot opens. And you either can come with me or you don't, but we don't have to feel that pressure or putting people under pressure like, oh, you got to come with me. No, you don't. And maybe you're not ready right now, and maybe you just don't, maybe you're not ready, and that's okay. But when you're coming from a place of serving instead of selling, you sell anyways, but you sell the people who are really aligned and ready and excited, and they go and they come with you instead of trying to push people and feeling the pressure. And no, it doesn't work this way, really. You get to get into a place that you will realize, and this is something that I have realized just recently, a couple of years ago. I used to be working so hard, Sean. I would have 3 side hustles, and I would be working 7 days a week, always with a phone and laptop in my hand or on my lap. And the moment that I became unapologetic and stepped into my core values and just said no to anything that didn't align, now I'm working only 3 days a week. I love what I'm doing. I love my clients. And when I did this, when I stepped into my truth, my business went into new business, because before I had social media marketing. Now my coaching business, it's just like last 3 years. But when I changed everything in my business and start being unapologetically me, I achieved 6 figures in 9 months, working 3 days a week. Wow. So I want people know that you don't have to work hard. It's not about what you're doing, but who you're being. Who you are being is so much more powerful, because when you know who you are being, then you do from that place, not the other way around. You cannot outdo, you know, who you are here and who you came here to be.
Right. Exactly. It's an amazing moment that takes place. And I've seen it happen this year. And maybe I got to that place finally. But I have a mastermind that meets every Wednesday called the Success Core Mastermind. It's the core of successful people. It's who you are at your core. It's your core values. It's everything wrapped around the word core. And as we were talking towards the end of January of this year, you know, everybody's talking about, oh man, I got this training that's going live, and I got this one course, and I'm doing this one thing, I got this one book, and everybody's got these amazing things going on, and I didn't change. Yep, we still got this, we still got this, we still got this. Got the radio shows and the podcasts, and we're doing everything, right? I said, it's weird, man. I haven't gotten one sale. At the end of January, I haven't gotten one sale. Usually I get the new year, new you crowd, right? I said, well, maybe everybody's broke. I don't know. Maybe they're just not making money. You know, a lot of people are not doing well financially, mentally, emotionally. They're not doing well. I said, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the pandemic, but man, did we thrive in 2020. I mean, we, like you said, tripled, right? I mean, we did more money than ever before, and we worked with more clients than ever before. It was an amazing year. And, you know, we hit over six figures, and we crushed it. So as I'm sitting here and I'm telling them, like, yeah, man, we went well over six figures last year, more than we've ever done. I mean, we hit six figures the past couple of years, but this was like deep into six figures, right? I mean, multiple six figures. And I said, man, I don't have any sales. I got some sponsorships and advertisers for the radio shows and podcasts, but I don't have any clients. This is new for me, you know? And they're like, wow, like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I've had so much time hanging out with the family and the kids and stuff. Like, I didn't really think about it. Like, I just, it wasn't something I was like, oh, God, I don't have a client. What am I going to do? It was like, it was a realization that I don't have any clients. Like, this is weird for me. You know, like, this was like a, wow. But the lights were on, you know, like, you know, I wasn't worried about money. And then an amazing thing happened. Somebody messaged me, hey, love to get on a call. Cool, got it, let's go. We got on a call, and they're like, love it. Love everything you're about. Want to work with you. Cool. Here's the investment. I'd invoice you. Boom. And then another. And then another. And then another. And then a weird thing happened. Middle of February, towards the end of February, Life Transformation Radio has been sold. A new host will take over April 1st. And they will continue the hosting duties of Life Transformation Radio, as I'm a consultant and everything else for media and podcasting and everything else. So I'll jump on the show as a co-host sometimes, but somebody else is going to be hosting Life Transformation Radio. It's still going to continue as Life Transformation Radio. Still going to continue the same way. It's just not going to be me hosting every day. A radio show sold. And everybody's like, whoa, you sold the show. Like, wow, why would you do that? Like, what are you doing? And then another sale, and then another thing, and it just keeps growing. And I'm operating now in a place where, oh, I didn't get the sale. That's okay. More is coming. That's my thought process right now. It's okay. More is coming. Maybe that person wasn't the right fit for me and the Success Core and what I'm doing, but more is coming. And I started saying that to myself. More is coming.
Wow, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that example. And, you know, I feel that when we change how we are feeling, because, yes, you could freak out and say, like, oh, my gosh, I have no clients. Like, how am I going to pay my bills? Or what is wrong, right? Compare it to last year. And you're like, no, I am enjoying my time with family. I'm enjoying my time with friends. I'm good. I know that, like, more is coming, right? And when you stay in that trust, that's when you really receive even the unexpected, right, changes and unexpected selves. And I think that is amazing. And it's really staying in that trust, in that faith. I'm taken care of. More is coming. And I love it. I love it. I will borrow it. More is coming. More is coming. Because what I love to say, it's one quote that I learned from Louise Hay at the beginning of my journey. It's, today it's a delightful day. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. I have that quote in the bathroom and the mirror, so when I like brush my hair, do my makeup, I see there. It's a constant reminder, and sometimes like I don't even see it because it's always there, right? And then I look at it and I see it with the new eyes. I'm like, wow, this is really such a beautiful reminder, because it is, and you get to relax, you get to trust, and oh, I love that story that you just shared, because that really gives a hope to everyone, and also the practical things. It's not all about doing and hustling and working really hard. It's about relaxing and trusting and then doing. It's not like you were laying on your couch and doing nothing, right? You answer the email, you jump on a call.
Yeah.
Right? So there
still
was
answering
inspired
emails.
action. Yep.
Yeah, I'm still operating. I'm still recording. Nothing has changed except I just didn't have any clients. Nothing else. The social media didn't stop. The emails didn't stop. Like, still stuff was happening. I'm answering emails. Nothing changed except for me. My mindset changed. Oh, that's okay. And it's funny when you tell somebody, like, that's okay. I don't need your money. I had a call just 2 days ago. I don't need your money. Like, if we're not a fit, we're not a fit. I don't need your money. And she was like, wait, what? And then we ended up working together. Because she's like, I like your attitude. I really love your attitude. Man, I don't need your stuff. I don't need your money. You know? Not to be arrogant, but it's the truth. I'm operating from a place of abundance.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful when you are coming from a place of desiring and not needing? Oh, I would love to work with you because I can help you. I would love to work with you because I can see your potential and I know I can help you. But if you're not ready or open or willing, or if right now it's not the time, it's okay. It's okay. I'll be here. You know, it's okay. Or if it's not the right fit, like, hey, I know someone better. I know somebody who will resonate with you. And it's so beautiful, because then you are not saying yes to something that is mediocre for you, something that really doesn't align with you. Because every time we say yes to something, we're saying no to something else, right? So if you say yes to a client who is not a heck yes, you will get more of that. You will get more of that in your life. So sometimes it's scary when there is a client and you know, like you're saying no to them because you're like, well, it's the money, right? But when you can look at it and see like, oh, more is coming, even better, it's coming, right? When you say no to something, you're like, oh, thank you so much for presenting me with this person and this opportunity. And what I truly desire is, and, you know, somebody who is committed, somebody who is ready, somebody who can invest. It's beautiful.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we start to wrap up the show, what I want to do is deliver a message to the listeners right now. Petia, what do you say to everybody who's listening? What is the message you want to give them?
What a beautiful question. So the message, and like my last thought, what I really want to leave them with is a mantra that I've created for myself when I was, you know, at the beginning of my journey, and it was, you're perfectly made for your purpose. We are always searching for something outside of ourselves. We're trying to change how we look, how we think, our bodies. We're trying to fit in the boxes that we outgrown. But when you realize that you are perfectly made for your purpose, the way you look, the way you think, the way you speak, the people that you are attracting in your life, you're perfectly made for your purpose. you start relaxing, you start allowing, and you start seeing yourself not as an enemy, but as your biggest cheerleader and best friend, and then life really begins to be fun. So remember, you are perfectly made for your purpose.
Love that. Love it so much. Petia, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Loved our conversation. Absolutely incredible having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and not only for having me today, but especially for the work that you are doing in the world. It's so beautiful and so needed. Thank you so much.
Where can everybody find you? Where do you want to direct the listeners to go?
So I know you already share it in the show notes, but my favorite place really is Instagram. That's where I do my trainings, my stories, and behind the scenes, and also my free Facebook group for women, Unapologetically Abundant Women. That's where I train and bring trainers. So those two are my favorite places.
Perfect, perfect. And before I go, I need you to take care of my boy over there. You know what I'm talking about? I need you to take care of my boy. Make sure he's in good hands.
Sure.
Chris, I need you to take care of my boy.
What? I didn't know
you know what I'm talking about?
Chris.
That's my boy.
I didn't know that.
That's my dude. Chris and I are very good friends. I need you to take care of my boy. That's my special boy.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea. What a small world. Beautiful. I will tell him.
Right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude, and you guys are amazing together, and so I wish you both the best for the rest of 2021.
Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate you, and I will let him know. Thank you.
Absolutely. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If any part of our conversation with Petia Kolibova resonated with you today, please reach out to her. Her website is there in the show notes. Go to her Facebook group, Unapologetically Abundant, and check her out on Instagram at Petia Kolibova. As I close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live an amazing life.